This Chicago Bulls team is just too funny, man. Come out and look completely flat and lifeless against some of the worst teams in the league, more recently the terrible losses against the Thunder and the Wizards, to then beating the best teams and beating them in convincing fashion like you saw today against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. Now granted, I know the Warriors, at least so far this season anyway, haven't been the definition of good. In fact, they're actually now below 500 after today's loss, and they've really struggled together as a team to maintain consistent play all season long, especially with the way in which they turn the ball over. You would think a team like the Warriors wouldn't be the worst team in the league in committing turnovers in the manner that they have, but all of that being said, it's still the defending champs. And they were fully healthy. Well, their main core of players anyway were fully healthy. And the Bulls were without DeMar DeRozan. So this is a game you probably would expect the Bulls to lose, but no, they came out firing with a ton of energy to start the game, which is not something we typically see from this group. Took an early lead, had a big first quarter, putting up 35 points on the Warriors, outscoring them 35-20. And then the Warriors came roaring back to actually take the lead by halftime, outscoring the Bulls 42-24. We always call them the Jekyll and Hyde or bipolar Bulls, whatever term you want to use, on a game-by-game basis, but tonight you saw it multiple times where they were turning into another team within the same game. And I won't lie, I thought the Bulls were going to fold. A nice first quarter, but another game in which they wouldn't be able to hold the lead, especially against a team like the Warriors that can get hot from three and swing a game around another direction within a matter of minutes. But no, the Bulls came out of the locker room, played incredible defense in the second half, forcing all of those turnovers from the Warriors while taking care of the ball themselves. On offense, only having 10 turnovers in total. They took smart shots, didn't force things. They hounded Steph. I did a great job on Steph, by the way, especially after having arguably one of his worst games of the season against the Thunder the other night. And then the Bulls also played with some of the best ball movement I've seen from them all season long, which explains the balanced scoring and 6 players finishing in double figures. And really, the main takeaway from this game, which we've been preaching and emphasizing all season long, the Bulls used Vucevic perfectly tonight in a game that was best suited for the mismatch down low. I know I sound like a broken record, but guys have to go into Vucevic down low when the Bulls are going up against some of these small ball teams or weaker centered teams. No offense to Kevon Looney. And time and again, the Bulls simply don't do it. I shouldn't say they never do it, because there have been some games where they've made more of an emphasis on going in the middle to Vucevic, but a lot of times guys are looking to make plays for themselves in ISO situations and not letting Vucevic work in the post or even playing off of him in the pick and roll. Tonight was exactly how we needed to see the offense run going through Vucevic. It helped that he actually hit his threes, don't get me wrong, but even finding him where he needed to be in the paint, bodying up guys like Looney or Draymond occasionally, they even had Wiggins on him. That's the offensive system you need against a team like the Warriors who like to play small. Vucevic tied his career high, 43 points, 18 for 31 shooting, 5 for 10 from 3, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. This was Vucevic's best game by far in a Bulls uniform. I'm not even talking about just the season. Since joining the Bulls, period, this has been his best game. Not sure he has this type of game if DeMar had played, but who knows. Zach LaVine, still struggling with the outside shot, 1 for 8 from 3, but overall this was actually a much better game from Zach, much more efficient. Kind of flirted with a triple-double there, 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, 7 for 18 from the floor overall. What I actually like seeing from Zach in this game is that he deferred to Vucevic and was okay with it. Like everyone knows, with DeMar being out, this is his time to shine, right? This is where he wants to take over and show what he can do, and that it is still his team. And that has been to the team's detriment when he's trying to do too much. But he was more willing to have Vucevic get more of the touches and usage tonight because it was working for them. Then how about Alex Caruso? He himself almost had a triple-double as well, was all over the place on both ends of the floor, 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. But you know what stat jumps out the most for Caruso? Plus 24 on the night in box plus minus. For context, the next starter that had the highest box plus minus was Vucevic at plus 12. Derrick Jones Jr. was also plus 18 tonight in only 22 minutes. I'll get to him in a little bit. But this is why I don't understand when I hear Bulls fans being so hard on Caruso because he isn't scoring enough, which yes, you'd like to see him score a little bit more, but his level of impact on the court is unmatched when you look at his on-court, off-court numbers and just how much better the Bulls are when he's on the floor. Ayo, like I mentioned, had a great game just based on the impact he had going up against Curry, although yes, he wasn't on Curry the whole game, and the Bulls did a great job with the help defense on double teams, which caused all those travels from Steph Curry. Didn't have really that many good looks, only 15 shot attempts for Curry, which is fairly low for him, and Ayo had a much better night offensively than what we saw or what we've seen most recently in the last couple of weeks. 12 points, 5 for 9, 2 for 5 from 3, and actually was much more effective in passing the ball, which you kind of need to see from your starting point guard. 6 assists tonight for Io. And then Patrick Williams tonight, 10 points for him. All of his field goals were on threes. Just need to see Pat a little more aggressive in getting the basket. He has the size, frame, and handles to be able to do so, and he's getting more attempts inside, but he just needs to be hitting those shots more. And then Coby White, talk about the scoring spark off the bench for the Bulls that we've all been needing him to be. He was just that tonight. 15 points on 6 for 7 shooting. And what's been most impressive about Coby over the last few weeks is just how much better he's gotten on defense. He's just much more active and aggressive on that end of the floor. Like, I wouldn't call him a good defender by any means even still, but at least he's putting in the effort on that side of the ball, unlike some other guys on the roster. And then, like I said, Derrick Jones Jr., the energy and hustle he brought to this game, that really ignited that first quarter push with his quick thinking on defense and turning it into offense. It was no wonder he was plus 18 in the night, because every time he was in, the Bulls looked much better as a collective unit than they did with their other lineups. It's funny because if you guys caught my video from yesterday, which was just me being fed up with the Bulls and all their bad losses recently, I talked about a trade that we need to see the Bulls make, which involved trading Vucevic, Coby, and Pat for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, which I won't get into all the specifics and pros and cons of that trade. You can check out the video to get my perspective on it in case you missed it. But of course, right after making that video, Vucevic has a career-type game and Coby has a standout game, to the point where I'm almost like, I don't know what trade or trades the Bulls should make before the deadline. I kind of almost get it now, why this front office is being so wishy-washy and non-committal about making big changes, and why the reports are coming out that it's expected to be a pretty quiet trade deadline for the Bulls, which, regardless of this win, would still be a mistake. This roster clearly is not fit to win or be sustainable long-term, but it does make you wonder, is this team actually just really good and they just need to get their crap together and simply play consistent basketball on a nightly basis? But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, trades are going to need to be made. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Bulls are actually going to be off until Thursday, as they'll head to Paris to take on the Detroit Pistons. It'll be good to see the Bulls getting some show overseas, but I'll have content throughout the rest of this week. Until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.